And we're back. You are listening to the Talking Boxing with Billy C show. And don't forget, you can check us out on Fight Now TV. That's right. It's real easy. Just call your local television provider and tell them that you want the Fight Now channel added to your sports channel lineup. It's that simple. Pick up the phone and call. All you got to do is visit their website for all the other information, www.fightnow.com. And speaking of now, joining us, he's got a 2000 Olympic gold under his belt, and he's challenged for a world title. Please welcome Audley Harrison. What's up, brother?
Hey, bro, how we doing? Mr. A-Force in the house.
Hey, well, listen, man, how you doing? How's training going? You got a big fight coming up in a couple of weeks in October against David Price. He's a young buck that you're looking to get another shot at maybe making another run. How's training going?
Yeah, that's exactly right. Training's going great. I mean, this is a great opportunity for me. Battle of Olympians. I'm fighting, like you said, a young buck. David Price, he's 13-0. Hasn't really put a foot wrong as a professional. But, it's an Olympic bronze medalist against Olympic gold medalist. And definitely the old man is going to turn back the clock. I'm 40 years of age, soon to be 41. But like sweet wine, I'm ripening at the right time. And definitely this has been one of my best camps ever as a professional or amateur. This is almost comparable to my Olympic training camp. Though I've had, lots of little injuries, lots of breakdown, I've carried on fighting through it, and, I'm definitely found a way to get to the finish line. So I'm really looking forward to this fight, and I know it's going to be a tough challenge, but you know what, that's exactly how I want it to be.
Well, you're regarded as really one of the hardest punchers in the heavyweight division, past, present, and probably in the future. One of the things, the knock on you has been that maybe your camps didn't go as well as you planned. And, you mentioned about the age. Most cases, people look at the age as a negative thing. But do you think that maybe in this particular case, and because you happen to be blessed with some pop, and now maybe your attitude is focused a little better, do you think that this is the like a reopening of your career, so to speak?
Yeah, definitely. I've gone full circle. I've gone, I turned professional with a lot of fanfare. I wanted to be my own promoter. I wanted to be my own manager, and had a big operation over there in England. And basically, I spent a lot of my time, fighting inside the ring, but fighting more out of the ring with all the promoters, because obviously nobody was happy that I was my own boss. I was basically ripped up the whole script, and had it worked, the system would have gone down. So basically, I was fighting against the system out of the ring and being blocked every which way but loose, and it took my energy. 2004 really I fed out when I lost the contract with the BBC, which really had nothing to do with boxing. It kind of took my love for boxing, and I'll tell you the truth, my passion for boxing went. And at that point, I was still unbeaten, regarded as the future of the heavyweights. But I really lost my love for boxing, with the outsides, with what was going on out of the ring. And I just weren't able to perform. The fights that I lost, those fights I shouldn't have lost. But I had no passion for boxing for a long time. And I kind of was just in the wilderness searching, and just decided to fix my life. I just used it as a lesson to fix my life. I was a playboy, just living life in the fast lane, and I just really settled down. I'm a family man now. And it's the right time. It's the right time, and I've had injuries that the average man just would have given up a long time ago. But I've been cut from a different cloth. Like I said, I don't give away Olympic gold medals, and I was on the right pathway. I definitely fell off the pathway midway through my career, and I never gave up. I said, you know what, this is the universe talking to me, and I'm just going to use that to fix my life. And I just stayed on the wagon. I just stayed. Even though I couldn't perform, I couldn't figure out. It's like I was possessed. I couldn't figure out why I couldn't perform some of my fights, and just why the spark wasn't there. And this year, going to the Olympics, I went to the Olympics this year, and that was the final chink in my redemption journey, because going amongst those athletes, and these are elite athletes who've given their whole life, 4 years of their life to win a medal, and I was like, I've done that. I've been there. And it kind of just reawoken my Olympic spirit. And I realized how far away I was from being a world-class athlete. And really, that world-class athlete right about now is back. So, win, lose, or draw, I know who's turning up. I'm turning up in there to win, and I paid the price to win. And so David Price is going to be in for a real, real tough night. And it's, and we'll see what he's made of.
You know, it's funny. They say, when fighters, you got to see both sides. You know, most fighters, former fighters or even current fighters, say, "Oh, it's brutal inside the ring." But now you're proof that you can say, "Yeah, yo, man, it's just as brutal outside the ring as it is inside the ring," right? With some of these sharks that are in the business, right?
Hey, no doubt. It's far more brutal out of the ring. And you know the beautiful thing about my journey, the beautiful thing, I'm 40 years of age. Most of these guys who've gone through what I've gone through, they've quit by now. They've given up and they're bitter. And I was bitter, they're bitter. Or they've gone through the process of healing and now they're teaching a young prospect because they no longer can fight themselves. And all that wisdom and knowledge that they've acquired, they're now passing it on to somebody else. You see some American fighters go and become traders, Freddie Roach and many other fighters. The beautiful thing about my journey is that I'm giving all of that knowledge and wisdom to me, to myself. You know, I've had all those knocks, had all those disappointments, and I've soldiered on. And so here I am, 4 years of age at the starting line, and I've had a beautiful camp, giving lots of knowledge and wisdom to myself. And it's been a beautiful thing.
You know, in 2009, you fought in that prize fighter tournament, which I absolutely love. And you know, we all kind of thought, you know, this is it, man. Now we're going to, you know, Audley's, you know, finally back, man. And you went and you had a great fight against Michael Sproat. And then the David Haye fight, people started losing interest there. What happened in that fight? I mean, it just didn't seem like you were yourself. You know, there was no power. There was no, just like what you were saying earlier, it just seemed like you weren't there. You were in another place. What went on in that fight?
No doubt. You know, that was another one of those scenarios where I beat Michael Sproat in April in heroics.
Big fight. That was I thought you killed him in that fight with that knockout in the Sproat fight.
I destroyed him with one arm. I never gave up in that fight. But after that fight, I had to have an operation, and I had the surgery. And basically, I lost my European title. They told me I had to give it up because I told them I can't defend it for a little while, but they forced me to give it up. And a couple of weeks later, David Haye calls, or his promoter calls, Adam Booth calls, and they offered me the world title fight. And it was in that climb. I mean, I sat around with my doctor, and the doctor said, "Look, you ain't ready to fight for at least 12 months. You know, this arm, you might never ever fight again because your arm, this is my second operation that I was having on it." And they said, "You might not ever fight again." I said, "You're crazy. I've just won the biggest fight of my career, one arm. Operate on it. I don't care what you say, operate on it." So they weren't that optimistic. And probably it's the first time in my career where I thought, Audley, you might not be able to get out of these bag of tricks. You might not be able to get through this one. You know, this peck might scupper your career. And then I got the phone call for the Haye fight. So I took it in a climate where I thought, you know, it was just such a great opportunity. I've always wanted to fight for a world title. But I took it, and the injury was still there. I was in rehab, and I had 6 months to get ready for it. And I just, you know, in training camp, my arm kept on breaking down. I had 3 sparring partners, you know, so I tried everything I could to get there. But the bottom line is, when I stood in the starting line, I didn't believe I could do it, and that's the bottom line. Well, I didn't believe because I knew my confidence and most people's confidence comes from preparation, and you can live a lie to a certain degree. And I really thought, you know, David Haye, I know him so well. I mean, I know David Haye for when he was, you know, 19 years old in training camp. And I used to be able to always bully him with my left hand. And so my jabbing arm, which sets everything up, wasn't working. But I thought, you know what, puncher's chance. David Haye's going to walk in and make a silly mistake, and I'm going to be able to land that left. You know, as you see in the fight, I took about 20 clean shots. I made sure my legs were strong. But, you know, the bottom line is I stood on that starting line. When it mattered, I mean, I walked out there, I felt great. But when I stood on that starting line, I didn't believe it. You know, and that's the bottom line. And that's what. And I was in there trying to kid myself, trying to find a way. You know, I didn't want to quit in there. As you see, I got knocked down, I get up. But the bottom line is, I didn't believe I could do it, and that's why I didn't do it.
Wow.
You know, and once I paid the price in camp, and I, you know, tick all my boxes, then I'm a different animal. And that's where I am today.
I hope you get a second chance at David Haye so bad, man. I want to see him writhing on the canvas, and I would love to see it from you. But listen, you fought Ali Adams in a really good fight. You stopped him in 4, and it sets up the fight that we're talking about right now against David Price. You know, I look at David Price, and a lot of people think he's the next guy and all of this stuff. Big heavyweight, 6'8". But you know what stands out? I mean, you're no shrimp. I'm 5'8". I'd be up to your waist. I mean, you're 5'5". But you know what? You got a 4-inch reach advantage on him. Is that into your game plan? Do you think that falls right into your game plan?
I mean, he's 6'8". I'm 6'6". There's not much difference. You know what I mean? Like you said, when you look at the arm length of me and him, he does some very good things. He's got some weaknesses, and my job, and definitely, is to exploit his weaknesses. And minimize his strength and exploit his weaknesses. It's about strategy. It's about game plan. Yeah, we're fighting, but the beautiful thing about my game when I'm in a craft is I take away your strengths. And I look to capitalize on your weaknesses. So that's what it's about. And he's obviously a similar style. He's an accomplished amateur, just like myself. He won Olympic bronze. He won Commonwealth Games. Just like he's a national champion. Same pedigree as me. So it's going to be a fight. But, that's all I know. He's going to be taken to places where he hasn't been yet. Nobody's asking him the questions that I'll be asking him as a professional. And as an amateur, when he got asked these questions, he didn't fold. He didn't quit. He tried to find a way through. But on a few occasions, he's fell short. And that's the bottom line. When he's been asked these questions, he rose to the challenge, or he tried to rise to the challenge, but he wasn't able to overcome. As a professional, he's never faced anybody who's going to take him to where I'm taking him.
I know you're busy. I know you got to go on your run. One quick question for you. Now, I'm not suggesting one bit to look beyond David Price, but
Sure.
We said when we started talking was that, a win over a guy like David Price, who there's so much fanfare around, do you think that, you already said that you thought that would open up some doors for you. Do you have something in sight that immediately would happen should you get by Price on the 13th?
And Mr. Billy C., all I know is October the 13th. Like when I went to the Olympics, I know I had plans after the Olympics, but there's no tomorrow. There is no October the 14th for me. This is all or nothing, shit or bust. So, yeah, I know how bright the horizon is going to be, but my whole focus is on October the 13th. There ain't nothing going on the 14th or future. Because that's how I am when I'm in this kind of zone. It's one focus, 100%. I'm focused on David Price. I know how bright it's going to be post that, so I don't even need to worry about it. All that's going to be taken care of. Right about now, it's one guy, and it's a tough guy. It's a tough challenge, and it's got my full attention.
Well, listen, man, I appreciate the time. You got me in the corner. I've been a fan of yours for a long time, and I'd love to see nothing more than you to come out on top on the 13th and then kick the crap out of David Haye for me, all right?
Hey, no doubt. Hey, tune in, Wealth TV. Tune in to Wealth TV. You're going to see the resurrection, the redemption of Mr. Audley Harrison. They thought I'm done. I'm not done. But just I come. So tune in. Check it out. You're going to see what the fuss is about. A-Force, he's back.
All right,
Ready.
brother. All right, brother. Good luck, man. Keep
All
in
right,
touch. All right.
Cool.
Take care.
Thanks.
That's my man, Audley Harrison. You just heard it's going to be on Wealth TV. And he's getting another shot, man. He's getting another shot. David Price, young fighter. Everybody talking highly about him. And, they lost some faith in Audley. You know that. I mean, hey, I'll admit I lost faith in Audley after the David Haye fight. But he sounds like rejuvenated. I mean, I've heard this is the first time I've actually interviewed him, but I've heard other interviews with him, and he sounds jacked up. And I love it when I always say to a fighter, hey, I don't want to ask you about looking ahead and then all of a sudden you ask them, hey, let's look past the fight. And most fighters have an answer for you. But my man Audley said, hey, man, there's no day after the 13th. So I know he's focused. I feel confident. And you know what? When we put this fight on the Billy C. Challenge, you wait and see who I'm going to pick. Hey, I got to take a break. We'll be right back.